We are called to greatness in this life. We all want to make a difference and be able to say we ran a good race. We fought the good fight, but no one plans and is prepared for the hiccups and scary sacrifices that lead to greatness. Kelly and I have always been a pro-life couple. My father worked with a doctor in the pro-life movement, and we have always taken a stand in our home, workplace, and community to protect life from the moment of conception until natural death. But we did not know that God was calling us to show our greatness in a very little known area of the pro-life movement. In February 2006, we found out that we were expecting our first child. We were through the moon excited. At 8 weeks, we received our first ultrasound, a picture of our precious child. We shared it with everyone. Little did we know that that would be our only picture of him.
At our 13-week appointment, we found out that our first little one had passed away. We were told that it was due to a chromosomal malformation and that all we needed to do was go to the receptionist and schedule a procedure to remove this bio-waste. Brian and I looked at each other in utter disbelief. All of our hopes and dreams for this little one were gone. We were left in a sterile examining room with no one to talk us through the whats, the whens, the wheres, the whys, and the hows of all this happened. How could we go from a beautiful gift of life, our first gift of life we made together, to bio-waste that must be surgically removed in the most inhumane way? Bio-waste, a word only used by people who don't see life for what it is. A true blessing, a beautiful gift from God. We were lost. Our family was supportive and hugged us, but there was no words that did not hurt us. We lost a baby, a beautiful heartbeat, tiny little limbs, 2 big googly eyes, and a beautiful future as our first little Ante. I blamed it all on myself. If only I watched what I ate, listened to everyone, and took it easy. Did I have a virus going around my classroom that caused this miscarriage? I wanted answers, and I had no one but the internet to help.
From that day on, we worried about every pregnancy. We questioned every feeling Kelly had, worried when she didn't wake with morning sickness. We basically held our breath and prayed with tears at every ultrasound and did not breathe a sigh of relief until the day our healthy babies were delivered. With a lot of prayer, we had 3 successful pregnancies, each about 2 years apart. So when we got pregnant for a 5th time, we were starting to be less worried about being pregnant and were overjoyed in sharing the news of our 5th baby. Little did we know that we were going to have to endure the same tragedy as our first pregnancy. No answers, no compassion, from a beautiful baby ultrasound picture to bio-waste that must be removed.
We could not be emotionally, spiritually present in our lives for 3 long months. We had to be strong for our 3 beautiful daughters. So we put on a happy face. We did our happy dance of life, all while on the inside, every night, hidden from reality, we cried. I cried so much that I had no feeling left within me.
We were able to conceive 2 more times after our 5th pregnancy. We now had 5 daughters, all beautiful, all a gift from God. Still no answers on why we lost our 2 precious babies. Our confidence in having children again grew. We were pregnant an 8th time, and this time we found out we were having our first boy. We still worried about this pregnancy as usual, but this worry was overshadowed by the feeling of finally having a boy.
We made it through our first trimester and well into our second when I woke up with the most unusual feeling. Our son was kicking and squirming around inside of me as if he was having his own kickboxing class. It went on for a little while. And then, it was as if a spirit was lifted out of me, like I was no longer carrying life within me. Every day, where was I? Everyone, including the doctors, assured me that this was nothing and that it was just my anxiety coming around after losing two beautiful children. I trusted the doctor's answers because I didn't know any better. Plus, I knew in a few days I would be having my 22-week ultrasound. So I rested, prayed, and waited until that day came.
November 3rd, 2017 was the worst day in our lives. At a hospital in the smallest, most unfamiliar darkness of a room, we found out that we had lost our only boy. Everything we had gone through up to this point did not compare about how we felt now. We were not prepared for this. How were we to break the news to our 5 little girls who were so excited about their baby brother? How could we do this? How can we be strong enough to make it through this a third time?
Little did we know that this was the first day of our lives that we would see a glimmer of light, a light in our life of pregnancy loss. It was as if God shined the most magnificent light upon us. This light was heaven's gain. Donna and Kim were our angels of light in this darkest part of our lives. They had answers. They were Christ to us. They comforted us and gave us the words we needed to understand that this was our baby boy, not a product of bio-waste. He was name-worthy, Jonathan Charles. They reassured us that we did nothing to cause him to be stillborn. They walked us through every step of labor and delivery and helped our voices to be heard when we could barely speak. We created a birth plan for the doctors and nurses to follow. Donna came to the hospital and helped us make memories. Memories we so desired to have with our little boy. They were never but a phone call away during this time and after we buried our little Saint JC. They were there then, and they are today. They talked with us that when we were ready, we could conceive again with faith and love, not with anxiety and what-ifs. So, when we conceived our second son, Broderick James, they were there almost every step of the way. They were there on the days of doubt. They gave us good advice and reassured us that this was okay to call the doctor whenever something unusual happened in this pregnancy.
Their compassion, their presence in our lives, in our girls' lives, brought us to a point of thinking about how we could make a difference in someone else's lives like they did ours.
We could and have both financially and prayerfully supported Heaven's Gain. But I felt called to more. This call came in the form of an email from our Archbishop and from Heaven's Gain. They were starting a training program called Apple. This was a program that trained lay women, nurses, and doctors to be able to walk parents through this darkest part of pregnancy loss. I am proud to say that I'm near the end of my Apple training. And I will soon be available to all families so they know that they are not alone in this loss and that they do have rights and that their baby is a baby, an actual human being, bone of their bone and flesh of their flesh.
Greatness in life may seem easy to some, but true greatness lies in love. Love that is focused on life and willing the good of another. Heaven's Gain Ministries is greatness. They are working to support life of the precious little ones that were lost too soon. Thank you, everyone, for your time in sharing our story. But most of all, thank you for supporting the greatness in Heaven's Gain with your time, talent, and treasure, so that more families like us do not have to live in darkness, but can see the light that God has given to this world through the greatness of Heaven's Gain's ministry. Thank you, and God bless.